Right, because as I was told that we are being taped. So I'm going to do something a little different and talk about the research process. And it begins with something that I have on my board at Hong Kong, UST. It's a document written about 30 years ago, and it's from Bradley Long's UC Berkeley's website. He says the paper is really just about an idea. And let me read this out for you. Don't clutter up your life with other activities, just write. Don't carry out a thorough and comprehensive search of the literature, just write. Don't attempt to make sure that every page you write shows the full extent of your professional skills, just write. Don't write a well-organized, well-integrated, unified dissertation, just write. Don't think profound thoughts that shake the intellectual foundations of the discipline. Just write. If you don't have a paper started by the spring of your third year, be alarmed. If you don't have a paper largely drafted by the fall of your fourth year, panic. And when you start, which should be around your third year, have 3 new ideas a week. Doesn't have to be very good, but at least 3 new ideas a week. Don't try to game the profession. Work on what interests you. And the last and the most important, good papers in economics have 3 characteristics. Remember, we are a social science, so it's an essay, except it's a substantiated essay. What are these characteristics? A viewpoint. It's really an opinion. It's what we call the hypothesis. So the viewpoint could be Cajun food is better than Indian food. I don't believe that, but that's a viewpoint. The second one is a level, which is how you're going to show that. The research design. So we have a blind test and things like that. And finally, a result. Is it better or is it worse? Just 3 things. So let me illustrate this. And this I used to sell one of my papers that we're just working on. A paper called Rating on a Curve. So we were talking about how we get ideas. So I got this idea many, many years ago when I learned that none of the Indian students were taking my honors class at Indiana University. I said, why aren't you guys taking this class? They said, Professor, it's too difficult to get an A in your class. So they want to take the easy classes. So what happened is that we changed our honors program. This was in the earlier days where the mean grade in the honors program was 3.75. Whereas for the rest of the programs it was 3. So it was easier to get an A in the honors class. So the idea was the following. There are lots of rating on a curve these days. The most popular politician in a party may not be the most popular politician in a country, and so on and so forth. But in analyst rankings, and when they give a recommendation, he or she is valuing stocks and figures out the intrinsic value of a firm may be the same as its actual price, so it's fair value, and they say hold. But a typical analyst analyzes 7 stocks in a portfolio. It may be that all the other stocks are overvalued with respect to this. So she changes her mind and says, bye. Or it could be that the other stocks are all undervalued compared to this. So she changes her mind again on this and says sell. So the recommendation depends on your portfolio. So this is relative to me. Okay, does this actually exist? So in the month of October 2013, Greenfield recommended Facebook as a strong buy, while Kessler recommended Facebook as a hold. Same company, same month, 2 different analysts have different views. What was the reason? Well, Greenfield was covering Facebook, Netflix, 21st Century, Pandora Media, and AMC Network. And Facebook's target return is defined as the intrinsic value divided by the current price minus 1, was the highest among these stocks. So it was the best stock in the portfolio, they said strong buy. Kessler, on the other hand, it was the worst stock in their portfolio. And they said hold. So then develop the hypothesis a little more. We have the scale of overvalued to undervalued. There are 5 ratings that analysts give: sell, underperform, hold, buy, and strong buy. If you're doing absolute grading, this would be a sell, and this would be a strong buy. On the other hand, if you're doing relative grading, analyst 1 is covering these 3 stocks, and analyst 2 is covering these 3 stocks. So what would you say? This would be sell, this would be hold, this would be buy. But the second analyst, same stock C would be a sell, this would be a hold, this would be a buy. So it's all about relative. Or is it? So if relative weighting holds, the recommendation on a particular stock depends positively not only on the absolute quality of the stock, but also positively in the rank of the stock in the pools of the stock analysis form. So it depends on where you are. So that's relative weighting. So that's the viewpoint. The level, the research design. You run a baseline regression where these as recommendation. This is what you think the target return is. This is a variable of interest, which is the rank. And then you put in lots of other variables that the literature has put in, 40 years of work, and there are some other interesting papers on relative weighting. Then you control for stock time fixed effect, and the stock fixed effect, and the time fixed effect. So that's the research design. And finally, you get a conclusion, and I'll jump straight to it. What we find, for the same stock in the same month T, an analyst would get approximately 1 notch higher rating than another analyst in this stock in that month is the highest ranked stock in the former analyst pool and the lowest ranked stock in the latter analyst pool. Statistically significant, but that's not important. Is it economically significant? Considering that there are only 5 notches, sell, underperform, hold, buy, and strong buy, it's a 1 notch move. It's quite high economic significance. To put it another way, let's put it in asset pricing way, a portfolio of long strong buys and short hold sells will generate returns of 3.47% on announcement. But if you have long strong buys from analysts with the best pools and short the hold sells of analysts with the worst pools, your returns will decrease. Bottom line, for my mom, this implies that if an analyst is covering a strong pool, the best firm is rated less highly than it would be otherwise, and the analyst is covering a weak pool, the worst firm is rated less badly than it would be otherwise. So basically, if you're coming from a top school, and A means more than if you're coming from a not so top school. Okay. So now you have written up the paper with this idea. What do you do now? You submit the paper and hope for the best. Okay. So here is a form letter, this is the first paragraph from financial management. I have attached the referee report for your manuscript that you submitted to FM. As you will see from the report, the referee has raised significant concerns regarding the publishability of your research and recommends rejection. Based on my own reading of the paper and the report, I'm afraid I have to agree. Thank you for considering FM for the publication of your research. I hope the outcome of this specific submission will not discourage you from the submission of future manuscripts. You're sad. You feel upset. You want to scream, you want to write a letter to the editor. So one of the jobs, and I'm actually, the most surprising thing I thought was, this is a job where you make enemies as an editor. Because you reject so many things, right? I haven't made as many enemies as I thought I would. Anyway, when you get some things like this, what do? Keep calm and carry on. Well, if you're lucky, luck has a lot to do with this, and if the paper is good, you'll get something like this. I've attached the referee report for your manuscript that we submitted for possible publication in financial management. As you will see, the referee believes that the paper has the potential to make a contribution to the literature, but there are a number of issues that need to be resolved. My reading of the paper leads me to agree, therefore I will drop this as an R&R. Please include a detailed response to me and the referee outlining how you have addressed the various comments and concerns. Good for you. You smile. Oh, part 2. I'm not going to tell you how to respond to this paper, other people have done that, but you will also find yourself on the other side of the fence, refereeing a paper. So, here's a template that I have. If you want to write a letter to the editor, first paragraph, thank you for sending da da da. Second paragraph, this is very difficult to write, but it should be short. What is this paper all about? Research question, which was an opinion. Research design, which is a level. And the research answer, which is, do they say yes, no, and is it no? Third paragraph, strengths of the paper. All papers have strengths, you guys have strengths. Fourth paragraph, weaknesses. All papers have weaknesses, some more, some less. And last, which is your judgment. The recommendation to the editor, R&R or reject. If you're on the fence, to say so honestly. Then you write a letter to the author, which is anonymous. Please be friendly and constructive. Don't say, this paper was a waste of my time. And be honest. If you want to reject, please explain why. And if there's an R&R, also explain why. And be precise on what needs to be done. And I quote from my best friend Matt Stevens when he finished his editorial job for the RFS. He wrote a wonderful piece. It's called Reviewing Less, Progressing More. It says the following. Keep this in mind. Presumably, academic journals exist and publish articles to disseminate new ideas. Somehow that simple goal has been lost. Today, articles appear in print only after a referee is convinced that all other alternate explanations for the results have been ruled out. Remember, we are not math. 2 plus 2 is equal to 4 and nothing else. Neither are we logic. If x is greater than y and y is greater than z, then x is greater than z. We are a science. So lots of alternative explanations are there. In reality, no article can exclude every possible alternative. So this is basically an exercise in futility. The criterion for publication should be that once an article crosses some threshold, it is good enough to publish. The problem seemingly lies in an inability to say good enough. So we have a policy in our journal, no more than 1 or 2 R&Rs. We have to make a decision soon. But this is a problem we can fix. So remember, as a referee, don't make this guy go round and round and round and round. And part 3, you get a paper published. This, the previous panel has discussed. You need to be known for something. So this is branding yourself. You have to be known for an idea. So at the end of your life, when you die, on your tombstone will not be written, he published 3 JFs and 4 JFEs. People will remember you for an idea. Like this Nobel laureate, his idea was that even the poor have interest in consumption and savings patterns. So I was lucky. My brand is the dark side of finance. Years ago, I discovered that you can't do even studies in Mexico. You can't do even studies. Why? Because whenever corporate news announcements come, the market has already disseminated all that information. Why? Rampant insider trading. It's a paper for which we receive death threats. Man, I realized that we can actually make a difference in finance. Death threats, right? So, my brand is the dark side of finance. So, like this great movie Joker, I feel like doing this thing and being destructive. So, what is the dark side of finance? As finance is about using other people's money, opportunities to steal are very strong. There's lots of money to be made. I had this paper with Professor Poole. She taught me everything about mutual funds that I did not know before. And again, there's no smoking gun, there's just circumstantial evidence. And if you know a little bit of behavioral finance, it's also very easy to steal because most people think they know finance, but they do not. Humans are gullible, think they understand finance, but most do not. And of course, it cannot be eliminated by law. So work towards having a theme in all your papers. So when the letter writer writes the letter for your for your tenure, he or she says, this guy has advanced the area in this particular idea. It won't be a tick box culture, this person is a good person. So 3 GFs, 5 GFEs, give him tenure. It can just be one paper, one great idea. Life's pain. Thank you.